back. A little sooner than I had planned. I have a block for mock-up, and I have had complaints that I don't do enough video of me doing things. It's not a DIY channel, but I guess me talking is not exactly the full extent of what people want to see. So this is me doing something about it. We're just going to pull the engine out of the Durango here, sit it on an engine stand, put the Adventure pan on it, and the right side engine bracket. Now, supposedly, based on my research up to this point, the right side engine bracket from the GTO and every other VZ platform is the same. But the left side bracket, our driver's side, is the one that's offset. And I purchased it. It's on its way. It should be here this coming week, Thursday, Friday at the earliest, or the 19th at the latest, because it's coming from Australia. If you did not know, US Postal Service, or USPS, and the Australian equivalent have a partnership together to where they work together pretty well. And since it was shipped via Australian's USPS equivalent, that should make the process of getting the parts here a lot easier. And yeah, so we'll see. But I did pick up an aluminum 5.3 block. Supposedly one of the cylinders is bad or needs to be bored 30 over to be used again. I'm not worried about it for what I need right now. What I will probably do is go back and build this block once we get done with the entire driveline. So transmission, transfer case, adapter, shafts, all that stuff, to where the last thing I do is put an engine in it and probably switch from the iron LM7, I believe it is, the 5.3 I have in there, to a something aluminum instead, to take a little bit of weight off the front end, since we are gaining weight with that front diff. But without further ado, here's me attempting to shoot video of me doing more than just talk. So, a quick observation I wanted to make here. So we know these bolts, they go on the back of the pan here. They would go here, okay. Oh, well, obviously not like that, but into where the rear cover would be, right? So you know, those two right there, right? Then you have these two dudes, which would go in the front here on the front cover. Now check it out. So on the Adventure, this is what will be our driver's side where the diff's gonna sit, and there's this elongated hole here, goes to the block with this one super long bolt that goes in here like so. That feeds oil somewhere. Got to figure out where that goes, and if I'm going to need it. Probably an oil cooler if I had to guess, of some sort, and if so, I'll cap it off. Or it might feed into the diff. I'm not entirely sure yet, but we'll figure it out once we get it on here. But anyway, so that's more or less the oil pan. So you got 1, 2, 3. This will make 4 and 5, and the 2 that go here and the 2 that go there, and the front. So they're otherwise the same. So I would say, if you go to do this swap, get you somebody like Alex that doesn't mind putting in the extra work to make sure you get all the bolts as they came off of the car. Because I would be, honestly, it really wouldn't be a big deal, because you just go to, you know, your favorite bolt store and get what you needed. But in this case, when we're testing something pretty new, you want to have everything you need. Oh, and one more thing. It came with the old oil filter, which may not seem like a big deal, But when it comes to comparing it to a GTO, in which it looks like the same filter, it's just in a different spot, sending the old one with a part number on it, I appreciate it, because then it kind of gives me an idea of what to work with, you know. Because I bet I could probably get like a Honda filter or something to go in that spot if needed be. But anyway, I just wanted to take a second and point that out real quick. That's something I did notice. I'm going to finish zapping this down and go grab the, well, I don't know if we'll get the front diff on here today or not, but we'll see how far we get. Alright, so we're almost ready to place it in there. Let me show you what we got so far. Pan's on. I got the other side bolted in. I don't know if these bolts go there or not. I just kind of use the rule of common sense. 3 of them, same head size, right about the same length. So just put those in there. I got the diff on the ground here. I'm going to lower this a little bit, or probably closer to the bottom, because that's pretty heavy. So I can slide this on there and get the bolts in there. So here goes something. Alright, as you can see here, it's bolted up. Like I said, I just kind of had to use common sense and figure, you know, the length of this and roughly what the hole depth would be. They would all obviously be the same head size. This one ended up being iron, and if you can see here, this may share oil maybe, because I know the GTRs are that way, I'm pretty sure. The older GTRs, like the 32, 33, 34s, have like a weird oil bathing thing going on the diff. But anyway, so this hole is plugged up as soon as you get this bad boy in there. There's a locating dowel right here, and it's snugged right up to the pan. So all that is there. This is the big question. So we're gonna slap this bad boy in there and see what we got. Passenger side. So here goes something. Alright guys, so it's hot, and I've been wrestling a Holden for the last hour or so, but a lot of good progress is made, so I'm going to show you guys what I've discovered. Then I'm going to go inside and take a shower. So, as suspected, granted I do not have an engine bracket to put on the motor mount on this side, but the factory GTO aluminum bracket fits just fine. And this was, you know, nobody was sure, but look, that fits just fine. Plenty of space for starter and exhaust or whatever else on this side, because it's right-hand drive. And even still, on the other, oh no, my light's dying. On this side, you could see, once we get the rack right about where we need it, there would be space to run exhaust too. It'd be a bit of a pain in the ass, but I'm sure it could be done up and over down to the right. But we're not worried about that because we have a turbo car and more or less is going to be fender exit or something. But this all clears, and provided The left hand bracket, which is the one that's on its way in the next couple of days, bolts more or less in place with little drama. That's it. That rack can stay right there, give or take a little bit, and I can make it permanent. But I'm gonna wait till the bracket shows up to, you know, quadruple check, bolt everything down, take some measurements to see where I'm at. But the whole reason I wanted this is so I could bolt that to it and set everything up and double check my work. So I'm not saying there isn't a specific bracket for the Adventura to go on the right hand side, but the people I bought the parts from, the left hand bracket for the engine, or yeah, right hand bracket for the engine, because it's, you know, left hand drive. Wait, left, right? The one I need for the driver's side. Said that according to their records, that it's the same bracket on the right side. So I don't know. Now it could be different in the fact that it's iron because the offset one is iron, or it just could be a different part number because it's a different company, but it's the same car. You know, auto manufacturers do goofy stuff like that. But so far, man, everything has been pretty much what I thought my hunch was. So I had to turn around the engine crane little deal because I wasn't paying attention, put it on backwards. No big deal, just sat it down in the car and turned it around so I could get it on properly. But as soon as that bracket shows up, I'm gonna bolt it in the car and torque the nuts down and everything, measure and see how offset everything is. I'm sure the engine will move probably a little, you know, half an inch or so once the bracket's on there, but I think pretty much this is where it's at. I think this is more or less where it's going to see, plus or minus a little bit. And once I get that bracket on there, we'll get down on, turn the light on here. We'll get hot on modifying what needs to be modified to mount that steering rack permanently, and then put everything together. Because at that point, the car will be all, like, legitimately all-wheel drive. Because the only hang-up was the steering rack, but like I'm showing you guys, the steering rack's not the issue. Personally, what I think the issue is that this platform just wasn't popular. And since the platform's not popular, Australia is pretty much an alien country, no offense, to most Americans, that not a whole lot of people, unless you were really in love with these cars, bothered to learn anything more than it had an LS2 in it and a T56. So, you know, being this adventurous on this platform, I don't feel like was ever really on anybody's mind, because they'd rather buy a Corvette or a Camaro or move on to a S197, S550, 650 chassis. I mean, whatever floats your boat, man. But if you do like I did and you take the time to dig into Holden's racing history and the big rivalry between Ford and Holden, you'll realize that there's this car over there is a serious deal. This company, rather, is a pretty serious deal. And a lot of their HSV models were some serious cars, some very good looking cars and very practical cars, you know, for what they are. Personally, I think I'm gonna try to get one. Why? Well, the Japanese market is way overpriced. Any Japanese hero car, and I'm talking the big three, the FD RX-7, the 3rd Gen Supra, or any of the Skylines are just, and don't get me started on the JDM only WRXs, the STIs, and all the weird models over there, the plethora of cool Mitsubishis, and the list goes on and on and on. But there are just as many, if not more so, well, I would say just as many. I'd say there's a small niche of Holden and HSV model cars that are equally, if not more rare, and just as cool for a lot less money right now, until this video goes out and everybody starts buying up HSV cars. Stupid me. But anyway, as far as me and my drive to build, we'll call a garage built GTR, redneck GTR, blue collar GTR, whatever you want to call it, and do it pretty affordably, I feel like we're making pretty good steam. We are a bracket and permanently mounted steering rack away from finishing the driveline. Because after this, it's getting that TR6060 built, getting Tony's adapter on the way over here. I got the transfer cases down there already, getting all that bolted up, transmission built, getting the shifter put on it, bolting it in the car in the back of this block, getting the drive shafts. They do extend, by the way. I've been told everywhere from 51 to 53 millimeters, long, about an inch, a little under an inch and a half for both the front drive shaft and the rear drive shaft. Difference. One gets shorter, one gets longer. So that's not a big deal. I can do everything from getting a spacer made to getting the shafts themselves extended. Once everything's in place and mounted, take measurements, take them down to any competent drive shaft shop, and they'll be able to make the modifications I need off to the races. Like, I have a factory front drive shaft, I have an aftermarket aluminum drive shaft. I'm just gonna have it shortened. It's a one piece, and there's concern about vibration and all that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but it's what I already have, so it's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to have it shortened and balanced the highest that I can get it balanced, or afford to get it balanced, and call it good. Do the same with the front, and we're done, honestly. I mean, yeah, you know, I could put the iron block back in it, build the aluminum block. That's neither here nor there. Anybody who's familiar with the LS platform knows these things are literally Legos. I could just as easily get a ZR1 C6 engine, CTSV, literally drop it in here and be done. Not a problem. But we do have a ton of support. Shout out to MonkeyFab for the turbo and the electronic pieces and some piping and all that he sent to get for the turbo kit. But as far as this is concerned, I think we're in a really good spot. I think we're in a really good spot, all things considered. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I made a lot more progress today than I thought I was going to make. And I'm not complaining, but I honestly wasn't sure that it was going to be this smooth. And sorry for you guys in Australia. I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up, because Adventure parts are probably going to skyrocket because Americans like the race stuff. So there's that. Anyway, thanks for watching.